Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. We are from Algebros, and today I will be the main introducer for our group. So our list of group member is as follow. So this is the list of our group members. Next slide. So the introduction for our research is that we want to study the relationship between the students' smartphone screen time during remote teaching and learning and normal life class. So in case in normal life class, before the MCO, movement control order, the student is freely, they have plenty of time doing other than looking onto their phone. But when MCO comes, their time with phone increase. So we want to study that relationship. And we also want to study why, the reason why the smartphone screen time changes during the implementation of RTL. So the problem statement for our research is that we want to find out whether RTL gives an effect for the student's smartphone screen time. This is as told before, we want to study if the implementation of RTL increase the student's smartphone screen time. The hypothesis, what we want to find in this research is that we expect the student screen time on non-educational purpose increase during the RTL. In RTL, the student will be given option whether to use their smartphone to study or just playing with their phone, playing games, watching movies, and other non-educational purposes. So we expect when RTL is implemented, the total screen time for non-educational purpose increase. So the methodology, how we collect our data, we use survey, and that survey is distributed to the IIUM students. So we got 100 respondents, which consists of 50 male and 50 female respondents, and we use Google Forms as the online survey tool for this. And then how we gonna analyze this data? We use the preliminary analysis, which includes the mean, the median, and mode, and also variance and standard deviation. We also use Chebyshev's theorem to analyze our research. I think that's all for me. I will pass this presentation to Brother Shahizad.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Shahizad and I will continue with the preliminary analysis. So, for the frequency of study hour for student screen time, so this is the pie chart. So, 10% of the respondent uh, use the use the phone for 1 to 2 hours, and 12% of the respondent use for 9 to 10 hours their phone, and the next one is 21% of the respondent use for 7 to 8 hours their smartphone, and the next one is 27% of the respondent use for 7 to 8 hours their smartphone, and the most used one is 30% that use 5 to 6 hours of their smartphone for their smartphone, the screen time for their smartphone. So the next one is the frequency of non-study hour for student screen time. So student use the phone that is not an educational purpose other than joining class or anything. So the least one is 5%, and they use the 5% of the respondent use for 1 to 2 hours of the smartphone, and the next one is 15% of the respondent use their smartphone for 9 to 10 hours, and 21% of the respondent use their phone for 3 to 4 hours. And then 28% of the respondent use for 5 to 6 hours their smartphone, and the last one is the most one, 31% of the respondent use for 7 to 8 hours for non-study hours. So this is the histogram for the student screen time for for educational and non-educational purpose for the last semester. And this is the central tendency comparison. So educational purpose for last semester, the mean is 5.26 and the median is 5.5 and mode is 5.5 and the standard deviation is 2.55 and the graph is skewed to the left. So as you can see, the graph is skewed to the left because most most of the student use less their smartphone for 1 to 2 hours. There is more than the 7 to 10 hours using the smartphone. So for non-educational purpose, for the last semester, the mean is 5.74, the median is 5.5, the mode is 7.5. So the standard deviation is 2.52, and the graph is skewed to the right because for the non-educational purpose, students use much more than the educational purpose their smartphone, and the graph is skewed to the right. So the next one is the student screen time for current semester, which is this semester, and the central tendency is educational purpose. For current semester, the mean is 5.82, the median is 5.5, the mode is 5.5, standard deviation is 2.57, and the graph is skewed to the right. So for this semester, the student use more for educational purpose, and that's why the graph is skewed to the right. And the next one is non-educational purpose for current semester. So the mean is 6.12, the median is 5.5, and the mode is 5.5, and standard deviation is 2.27. And the graph is also skewed to the right as it increased because the the usage for non-educational purpose is higher than before, and as you can see, the mean is higher for non-educational purpose, and that means that students use their smartphone more for non-educational purpose than educational purpose.
So we go to the part of final analysis. Our research goal is to observe the connection or correlation between the dependent and independent variables. RTL does affect the student's total smartphone screen time. It can be observed by refer to the comparison of total screen time for the last semester with the total screen time for this semester. As we can see in the table in the slide, for last semester, it shows that the average screen time for students is about 10.66 hours daily, while on this semester, the average screen time for students is 11.86 hours daily. So, it can be concluded that before RTL, student non-educational purpose screen time was already higher than the educational purpose screen time. So in the final analysis, in our analysis, we include the educational purpose and non-educational purpose part. So last semester, average about 5.26 hours spent by the student on educational purpose, while 5.74 hours for the non-educational purpose. But for this semester, the educational purpose student screen time increased a little bit to 5.82 hours, while for the non-educational purpose increased higher from 5.74 hours in the last semester to 6.12 hours in this semester. So, during RTL, students' non-educational purpose screen time also higher than the educational screen time. So, this conclude that students' non-educational purpose screen time is higher even before RTL and during RTL. So there are some factors of the students that make them getting distracted. So the first one is the flexibility of study hours. So for the flexibility of study hours, since the students are at home or at the campus but they do not have to go to the class, so they will have a lot of study hours. So their time is more flexible than the physical class. And the second one is the study mode. The study moods can be bad and good. Sometimes the student will feel bad to start study, and sometimes the student will have a good mood to start study.
For this slide, this is our conclusion for our research. Students' smartphone usage hours is greater for the current semester as compared to the last semester. The increment of the smartphone usage may cause students to use their smartphone other than educational purposes. Based on the means from all the samples collected, students' screen time for non-educational purpose are more likely to get higher usage hours than educational purpose. The result is clearly logical and concede to our hypothesis. Thus, we accept it for our statistical research. Okay, next. In this slide, I will explain our recommendation and suggestion. And first, a larger sample size is needed for our or for the next research. And secondly, we must make more specific and objective relating to the question. So the third one is we must include more university for the form, and the next one we add more independent variables, and the next one we add more factors to the our research, which include devices such as laptop and tablet. So that's all from us. Thank you.